What's going on, dudes and dudettes? Name's FOXSOL. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some more WutheringWaves content here on the channel. I hope you guys are having a good one. I'm doing pretty decent right now. There is some issues going on, but hey, that's life. And pretty much I'm going to treat this video kind of like a podcast in a sense. And I want to basically discuss Yinlin a little bit more in detail, the build that I'm working on, and pretty much just go through this character and try to simplify it as much as possible without giving you guys a headache on, what is the most optimal building, what is the most optimal numberation. If you want something like that, I'm going to spoil it for you before we even get started. This is probably not going to be the video for you, and you can go ahead and click off now. But if you want to stick around and tune in and hear my thoughts about Yinlin, by all means, I would appreciate it. And I would love the feedback in the comments below. I would love the feedback and everything when we do our live streams. So before we get started in this video, just alert everybody we do live streams on this channel. Okay. We used to be a popular channel in this regards for Lords of the Fallen and for DMC Peak of Combat. I took a couple of months break. Channel pretty much suffered for it, and our live streams have suffered greatly for it as well, to where the people who are interested in Lords of the Fallen or people who are interested in DMC don't seem to be interested in WutheringWaves. So we're trying to build a community up again on a live stream to where we can discuss, we can argue, and we can have a safe place to where, everybody could be themselves, and it's freedom of speech. And basically we treat it like a bar. Everybody comes in as a friend. So that's how my live streams have always been, and that's how it's always going to be. So if you feel like that is your type of place, by all means, come join us. Typically, we stream at 8 p.m. Central Time Zone, all the way up to like 1 o'clock in the morning. And at the same point in time, saying that, on the weekends, typically we stream for a lot longer and we start earlier. Sometimes it's like 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m., and we just play. So feel free to come by if you have a chance. Come talk, come get yourself a drink, and let's just, build something together. How's that sound? But in any case scenario, let's get started in this video. Always look for the intro. If you see the intro like that pops in, that means we're actually getting started in the video. Just to let you know. So in case if you went through that 2-minute intro and you didn't give a fuck about it, look for the intro that says FOXSOL, and then we're going to get started in the video. So we're talking Yinlin. We're talking about a build for her. And there's some pros and there's some cons with this character in general. And we're going to discuss that real quick here. So let's discuss this. Yinlin, since we've gotten her on her day of release, we have gone ahead and we've gotten her up to summon 3. Okay, so just to show, Mortality Crossroads, Maniac Roar, and Lightning Execution deals 70% more damage. Her Electromatic Blast recovers an additional 5 Judgment Points and 5 Resonance Energy on hit. And then the Forte Circuit Judgment Strike's damage multiplier is increased by 55%. Going on from there, if we go to, Summon 4, 5, and 6 here, on Summon 4, her Forte Circuit Judgment Strike hits a target. The attack of all team members is increased by 20% for 12 seconds. When it comes to Resounding Will, her Thundering Wrath deals 100% extra damage to targets with the Forte Center's Mark or Punishment Mark. And then with her final summon, number 6, in the first 30 seconds of casting Thunder's Wrath, when Yinlin's basic attack hits a target, Furious Thunder will be triggered, dealing electro damage equal to 419.59% of Yinlin's attack. Every basic attack hit can trigger Furious Thunder 1 time up to 4 times, and this is considered resonance skill damage. This is pretty damn good. Okay, so I'm going to say from this, I'm going to hold my opinion to the end about, you know, whether you should be summoning for Yinlin or not. And we're going to go on now into her skill set, her forte. One of the forte that we should be looking out for each and every one of these characters, and my personal opinion, and what you should be looking at is the outro skill, which is the one right here at the bottom right here. With the outro skill, incoming characters or characters on a nearby team that activate an outro skill have their electro damage amplified by 20%. And their resonance liberation, which is their alt damage, amplified by 25% for 14 seconds or until they are switched off the field. For someone like Caltro, this is actually really pretty big. Okay, this is what makes Yinlin a great support for an Electro team. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. When it comes to her basic attacks and everything, you should be reading this. I really don't it's not that I don't want to read this, but it's just, there's way too much for me to go ahead and consume when someone should take the responsibility, but let's give it a shot anyway. Basic attack. Yinlin controls a puppet, Zapstring, to perform up to 4 attacks, all dealing electro damage. Her heavy attack consumes stamina to control Zapstring, dealing electro damage. Her mid-air attack, Yinlin consumes again stamina to control Zapstring to perform a mid-air plunging attack, dealing electro damage. Her dodge counter uses basic attack after successfully a dodge to attack in a target, dealing with electro damage. I think you're getting the point of what her attack is doing. Okay? With a resonant skill, Magnetic Roar, the puppet Zapstring deals electric damage to a target and puts Yinlin in a resonant skill execution mode. Execution mode, basic and dodge counter will trigger one electromagnetic blast when hitting a target. Each stage of the basic attack or dodge counter can only trigger one electric blast up to 4 times. Okay. Electric magnetic blast attacks all targets marked with the Forte Circuit center's mark, dealing electro damage. And then lightning execution, use of the resonance skill after casting resonant skill Magnetic Roar or to cast lightning execution to damage the target, dealing electro damage. If the skill lightning execution is not activated while or this character is switched, this skill will be put in on cooldown. Okay. Her Forte Circuit. This is where we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna discuss a couple of things. This is what kind of makes Yinlin, you know, pretty damn good. Yinlin's judgment points is full. Okay, when excuse me, I stuttered there. I apologize. When Yinlin's judgment points is full, her heavy attack is replaced with Chameleon Cipher, which consumes all judgment points to attack a target, dealing electro damage. When this hits a target marked with Sinner's Mark, the Sinner's Mark will be replaced with a Punishment Mark, and that will last for 18 seconds. But what is a Sinner's Mark? Sinner's Mark is a normal attack, Zapstring Dance, Resonance Liberation, Thunder's Wrath, and Intro Skill will apply a Sinner's Mark on hit. The Sinner's Mark is removed when Yinlin exits. Punishment Mark is when a target's marked with Punishment Mark is damaged. Judgment Strike will fall, dealing electric damage to all targets marked with the Punishment Mark. This can be triggered up to once per second. Judgment points. Yinlin can hold up to 100 judgment points. Then when normal attack Zapstring Dance hits a target, restore judgment points. When cast Resonant Skill Magnetic Roar hits a target, it restores judgment points. When Resonant Skill Electromagnetic Blast hits a target, it restores judgment points. And when casting Resonant Skill Magnetic Roar hits a target, it also restores judgment points. There is a move that once you build up your judgment points to 100%, you can hold down the square button on the controller, all you say, and then it will go ahead and electrify everybody on the field. And this is where, I guess, I believe this is what's going to be called, you know, Zapstring's Dance or whatever, in a sense. I could be wrong about that, but basically you'll mark each target there, and then she can put a punishment mark on them at the same point. And then when you hit one person, it's hitting everybody. It's hitting everybody that has that mark at one time. It's pretty fucking cool. Not gonna lie. She's very good at crowd control. Command Zapstring to call forward to call for thunder to fall upon a large range, dealing electro damage is her reservation liberation. And her intro skill commands Puppet Zapstring to attack, dealing electro damage in a large range. So we just went through the skills here, and then if you want to take a look even further, with us right now, we got her up to here to where we have Pain Immersion, which after, you know, Resist Skill Magnetic Roar, her crit rates increased by 15% for the next 5 seconds. Going up next to Deadly Forces with her Forte Circuit, the damage register skill Lightning Execution is increased by 10% when hitting targets marked with Sinner's Mark, and Yinlin's attack is increased for 10% for the next 4 seconds when this is triggered. And along the range, we have, you know, an additional 1.20% crit rate, a 1.8 attack, 1.8 attack, and another 1.20% right here, or 0.2% for crit rate. This is my build so far. Echoes that I am running on her real quick before we get started in the pros and cons is that I'm running a balanced build, which I like to call, which we're using Void Thunder and Moonlit Clouds. And the reason for this is that I want the energy regen as much as possible on her, and that's where Moonlit Clouds helps out tremendously. Void Thunder is there for the electric damage. You can build her however you want with whatever echoes. You can go full thunder build. I've done it. It works well. It's probably gonna be the better version to go for. But I want to be able to pop my alt like this. I want to keep popping. So I'm putting as much energy regen as possible, just so that way we can keep getting alt. Pretty much, you know, we have Thundering Memphis right here, which I think is actually, out of all the thundering bosses there is to get, I think this is the best one to pop on any electro based character. Its attacks might be slow, but it will, what allows it to do with this echo in particular is that if the echo's a little far away and you want to catch up to it, this motherfucker just teleports straight to them, and then you can cancel out right there and you can continue your onslaught. We're using Bellborn right here because, in all honesty, I just put it on for right now because I wanted the energy regen with Moonlit, and it's helping with heavy attack and resonant skill damage. Along with that, it's not the best one to put on there more than likely, but it's what I had. And right now I'm not worried about echoes. Like I've stated before in the video, right now I'm not, there should be no reason why anyone's worried about the echo build at this point in time. Spectral Prism, it was for attack. I just put it in there because it was Electro. This is the second one for the Moonlit in order to get the energy regen. I have it only at +10. It really doesn't matter. This originally was already at +25. It was on a different character, and I just gave it to her because I saw, oh shit, it's got 10% energy regen on it, and it's also got crit rate, and it's got a 10% attack on it. So throw it on her. It's going to work out perfectly fine. And then that is basically the build. Altogether, we got an additional 5,040 HP, additional 626 attack, a 37.6% energy regen, crit rates at 25.3%, and 50.7 for the crit damage. And if we take a look even further in that, you know, our skill damage is at 29%, heavy attack is going to be at 26%, electric damage is going to be at 10%, which in all honesty, that should go, we should do our best to make that go up higher, but I'm not worried about it at this point in time because she's doing tremendously well for what her job is right now. All together with just the main stats right here, as you can see, we got 13,000 for the HP, 1,700 for the attack, 1,200 for defense. Our energy regen is at 150, which is so far working out tremendously well. Crit rate is 32%. That could go up, and we're going to make that go up later. But she also gains right now her extra 15%, you know, for 8 seconds when she does her attack crap. And then we got 200% for crit damage. So let's go ahead and let's actually discuss real quick about the pros and cons of Yinlin and what I think about it. What I think about this character in all generalness. And first and foremost, when it comes to her pros, Yinlin's outro skill, I think, provides a very significant advantage. With the 25%, you know, ultimate damage deepening, you want to call it resonant liberation, I guess you want to call it the resonance liberation damage deepening, and the 20% echo damage deepening, it makes her effective in enhancing the damage output of both, you know, the alt and the electrostat. So for someone like Cal, like I stated before, she is the crack cocaine that makes him work. Because if you look at a build scenario, if you look at building Cal, for example, we have to look at one thing in particular, and that is with his alt. This is where, you know, when he goes into his Deathblade gear, this is where Cal really shines with, okay? And it doesn't matter what stage you have him at. The one thing that comes into here is that all his heavy attack damage is going to be considered resonant liberation damage, meaning that every bit of heavy attack that he has on him, that he is dealing, is now going to only be considered alt damage at that point. It's no longer considered heavy. So using, for example, on a team, using Mortify here, okay, he amplifies heavy attack damage by 38%. But if Cal's in here going into his alt, this don't help him none. It just helps a little bit, doesn't help none. We're looking for what Yinlin does, which is with her skill, is we're looking for this resonance liberation damage amplifying. And then with that, plus a 20% increase on electric damage that Cal, on top of what Cal's doing, makes it to where she's a dual type buff pro. She's a god at this. And it's beautiful. So she is giving the best of both worlds to an electric team member's alt. And that is a solid pro. When it comes down to it, Yinlin can be, you know, effectively used as a sub DPS and as a support character. Thanks to the skills that she has, you know, that increases the overall team's damage, that provides valuable buffs to the main DPS characters, such as Cal. She's very versatile in the team. And I think, like I said, I think primarily for an electric team, you know, she is she's not necessary, but would be highly wanted to be, you know, to be that sub DPS and support on that team. She does have high damage potential. If you do look at building her correctly and looking at from all her skills, looking at, you know, with her summons and everything that you can do, Yinlin can contribute, I believe, you know, substantial. Okay, I think she can contribute substantial damage through her, through all her skill sets, mainly with her electro skills, with her resonance liberation, her resonance skill. Especially if you equipped her, you know, like I said, with optimal echo sets like the Void Thunder or such, and then maybe even with Moonlit to go ahead and help with the energy regen. This right here, you can see a high damage potential. She is really good at that. I also think that another pro with her is that she helps with crowd control. That she has the ability to basically, with her skill set, manage to lock down a wide range of enemies in an area, and then you can flip summon, you know, your DPS into it, and you can continue the onslaught. I will showcase that here in a little bit. Her ability to support or to enhance the main DPS characters makes her a versatile choice for various team compositions. It does provide a lot of, you know, strategic flexibility. But there is some cons to all this. And I think that in all honesty, it's just really a couple different things. And that is, you know, She is a limited character, first and foremost. Yinlin will probably be one of the harder characters to come over here because she's only for a limited time. And to build her up, you really are looking to try to get her, in my personal opinion, to at least a summon 3 to really start seeing the potential of this character. So it would be a significant investment to a lot of people in gacha pulling here to summon her. And this will be, for a lot of other players who are free to play, a little bit more less accessible. While another con is that while she can go ahead and deal damage, her primary strength really lies in supporting other characters, and mainly Cal right now. I mean, I'm doing it right now on the team with Jian, and she's actually working really well with it. The more I'm messing with it, she works really well. But like I said, Cal, she's the crack cocaine, but she's really a more support-orientated role, okay? You can look at using her as a standalone main DPS, but she's not as fast. She is with her energy rebend, her cooldown basically in a sense with some of her attacks and everything, her long-winded attacks. It doesn't seem as viable as it should be for her to be a main DPS. Sub DPS support is where she really excels at, and I think that that's where she should stay at. And the more you're going to look at, and like I said, right now at this point in time, I'm not really worried about it, but from looking at it and everything, the last con that I can think of for Yinlin is that to truly maximize her potential, she's going to heavily rely on very optimal echo sets and proper build optimization. This is a problem right now in this game, which, future-wise, I'm hoping it will fix, but this is going to be she's going to be very resource intensive. You're going to need to find echoes that is going to be based around, energy regen. You're going to need to find echoes that's going to be based on more electro damage. You're going to need more on the resonant skill damage, on her alt damage. You're going to want to find these skills in particular, so that way when you're tuning, like this right here, if you're tuning and you're getting HP and defense majority on an echo, that echo's a waste of time. But the good news is that even though that is a con, that's a con for the future. That's not a con for right now. Right now, you can, like I said, you can throw whatever the hell fucking echoes you want on it. It's not going to stop you from playing the game. It's not going to make it harder for you to complete the game. It's just that future-wise, when we're going to get more boss fights and stuff like the holographic boss fights that's going to come in, and if Kuro Games makes the game any harder, this will be a very, very significant time and effort to achieve, just making sure that we're getting the specific echoes build that we're going to need to build her properly and optimal. So, to come to the conclusion of this video, because we're almost at 30 minutes on this, in summary, when it comes to Yinlin, I think that, on all honesty, she is a very valuable character. I think especially for people who can invest in building her, that can integrate her into their teams and everything, that really do like her, that her strength is, you got to remember, her strength is providing buffs, supporting main DPS characters and such. She is a sub DPS character. She does a lot of damage. She helps with crowd control. She is an asset to the team. Despite the challenges in obtaining her right now, and optimizing her, she is a really main focused character that would be really good in your team. Do I say that you need to summon her right now? By all means, no. No. The character is great. The character is fine. But do I think that you need to go out your way to purchase this character? To summon for this character? Is she necessary? I will tell you this. She is necessary. I will put it this way. She is a very necessary character if your main DPS is Sephiroth, as Cal. If you want him to pop, this will be the character that you're going to want to make sure that you have. Just showcasing real quick. She is going to be a good character. She's going to make sure that, you know, Cal's electric damage, his alt damage is going to be multiplied by 20% and 25% or whatever on top of that. Believe, what was it, 25% or so? Whatever. She is going to be his crack cocaine. However, if you're not focusing on Cal as your main DPS and you're focusing on someone like me right now, which we're summoning her because it's for content and that's the reason why we're doing it, but you're summoning, you know, you're working more in Jinyan or whatever, your better option on this as a team composition would be a team like this with Mortifet, because Jinyan's ability, you know, yeah, of course we can lift up his resonance, you know, with his stack, but his ult's based on converting every attack into a heavy. So Morphet is a better option in that regards instead of Yinlin. So that's just really a somewhat sound put together, hopefully simplistic video of all this. Yinlin is a good character. Is a very well character, very good. I think she will be absolutely one of the most adored characters that everybody would want. She is your basic fucking Dami mommy. In all honesty, she is really good. She's not necessary at this time unless you are planning to, like I said, run certain things. Yes, then she would be a necessary character. Like to Cal, she is his support. That is what she is. If you're looking at main DPSing her, I mean, I don't believe that it's impossible, but I don't think that that is optimal. She is a better subclass, you know, sub DPS over being a main DPS. She is there to support, not to basically be a hindrance. Like, the thing is that when it comes to her with her attacks, like this right here, trying to main DPS this, you can do it, but I find that she's slower compared to someone like Jinyan or someone like Cal. You know, these characters are faster. They have DPS, damage per second. Her damage per second lacks compared to others, which hinders her, in my personal opinion, from making her a main DPS. As a support character, as a sub DPS that's coming in to buff up the other characters on your team, by all fucking means, she's one of the best. She is actually one of the best for that, and I actually give her a solid S ranking on that. So, like I said, you may agree with me, you may disagree with me in this video, and that's just how it is. I don't mind the criticism, I don't mind the comments or the feedback on it. But I tell you what, like I said, I pretty much, if you got a chance and you see me live stream and you want to argue, you want to discuss this or anything like that, guys, by all means, let's discuss Yinlin. That's all we've been doing this past week. People have been coming in, we've been discussing her, and I've been giving my opinion. Some people agree, some people disagree. You let me know in the comments below, you let me know in the live streams. But very simplistic terms, she's not Unga Boonga completely, like a certain green-haired son of a bitch who pretty much chews crayons all fucking day long. There is some strategy to her, but at the same point in time, she is a very simplistic character that would work really well with your team, that if you do have the money, you do want her, go for it, get her, put her on your team. That's great. But if you're someone that, you know, you're not running an electric team or you're not really that interested in her, she's not a necessary character. You can bypass this character. I'm gonna be honest with you. You can bypass it. She's not the best in that regards for you. Unless you're basically really interested in doing an electric team. Yeah, she would be necessary, but if you're doing something else, go ahead and skip her. And let's move on to the next thing. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a good one. And I will go ahead and I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.